So this video that we're going to watch today is a little bit older. It's been on the membership site for a while. It was supposed to have been scheduled to come out on YouTube over a month ago, and it fell through the cracks. I thought you guys might enjoy it, so I'm going to go ahead and share it now. But I don't want anybody getting confused by it because it shows me hauling campers when I'm not actively hauling campers anymore. I'll leave a link in this video to the live video I did explaining why I got out of RV transport and all that stuff. If you want to check it out. And I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hey guys, hope everybody done good. Today is Sunday, June the 9th, and we have picked this monster up going to Santee, California. First time going to California since the first of the year, and second time ever going to Holland RV in Santee, California. But I want you guys to check this monster out. 23 foot Imagine. Pretty much a little baby camper. So everything is hooked up, looks good and ready to go. They've already closed the gate on me. They're not letting anyone else in, and I'm gonna have to hustle to hurry up and get out. So I'm gonna make my way around one more time, check all of my lights. And I saw my two front lights were on, these were on, these are on, the back lights are flashing, top lights burning. I'm gonna make my way on around, but I've already tore up my lug nuts, put my tag on, put my signs in my windows. And like I said, the reason I started a video before I ever hooked up was because I got in here kind of late. I'm gonna try to make it as far down the road tonight as I can. I'd love to see Effingham, but I'm not banking on that. It's already been a long day. We put the M1 Luma steps from Boost Auto on my buddy Wayne's truck. They turned out excellent. I'll try to put a picture here. And yeah, we're all headed off going separate directions now, and see how far I make it tonight, and I'll get back with you guys tomorrow. So I only made it down to Rochester, Indiana that night, and the next morning Wayne found this place, a Lighthouse Kitchen. It was very clean, nice staff. I thought it was really good food. We had breakfast, so I don't know about the rest of the stuff, but breakfast was good. It did have a tight parking lot. I would definitely call them, make sure they're not overly crowded before you try to get a bunch of campers in there. I didn't make it as far as I'd planned on. I was hoping to get to Effingham last night, and it was a long day yesterday, and then these guys had parked up at Rochester, so I decided I'd just hang out with them. But anyhow, next stop will be Stratford, Missouri for fuel, and then after that, probably either Joplin, Missouri tonight, or the Buffalo Run Casino in Miami, Oklahoma. And if you guys hadn't stopped there, now this is the last time I've been there, which was back before the first of the year. They had the, I don't know what you call it, the driver's lounge is an old farmhouse out behind the place. And they help you with the laundry. They'll do your laundry while so you can go gamble if you're into that. Or if you just want to go back to your truck or whatever. If you're standing there, you can do it. But if you want to venture off and do whatever, they'll fold it and everything. You know, fold your clothes, put them back in your bag, and whatever you want to do. And really nice shower, super clean place. That's the main reason for me wanting to stop there over the Petro or anywhere else right in that area. And then I think they give you $10 off a meal once a day. So if you got there tonight, you can go in and get $10 off your meal, go back in the morning and get $10 off your meal if you have a player's card. But anyway, we're going to try to make it there today, and then hopefully, probably either, I don't know, somewhere between Russell's and Albuquerque tomorrow. Hopefully deliver on Thursday. That's the game plan. I don't see why that shouldn't be able to happen. But anyhow, not really much interesting to tell this morning. I will get back with you guys a little bit later on. I made it to the Buffalo Run Casino, which is right here in Miami, Oklahoma. Got the casino, the hotel, and if you got an RV, you can park anywhere on that back row right there where I'm at, and there's only 2 other RVs back there. If you're in a big truck, they have a ton of truck parking, and then they have a driver's lounge way over in the sunset, way over here. There's a house that is a driver's lounge. I don't know if I'm getting it in focus or not. Anyway, They have free showers. You come in and get a player's card. Take them a player's card and CDL, you get free showers. They have $10 off per meal, $10 off 1 meal per day. So you can come in and get breakfast, dinner tonight, get $10 off. Come back in tomorrow and get $10 off breakfast. And I think it's a good deal. Nice, quiet place to park with security that runs around the parking lot all night long. Yeah, it's a good stop. I'm thinking it takes at 131 off 44. And I've never checked on the hotel, but I've heard they're reasonable. I think somebody told me $65 a night, but don't hold me to that. And the truckers lounge out there with the showers and stuff closes at 10 o'clock, and you gotta be there by 9:15 get showers. So didn't look see what time they open because I'm usually not here in the morning. But anyway, I'm gonna go on in here, get something to eat, get a shower, and get ready to crash for the night. Got there too late to eat at the steakhouse, so I tried out the Backwoods Grill. It was pretty good. Wound up with a $10 coupon. This wound up costing me 54 cents. And these are the showers at the driver's lounge. One of the nicest showers on the road, in my opinion. Here in Amarillo, Texas, just got fuel and just riding along. Figured I'd pull out here in the parking lot and just check things out. Especially being my first time out here in a while. So the old truck, it's been doing really good. It's the first time I've been out this way, especially this long of a trip in a while, and it's been doing excellent. I put the new cold air Inductions airbox on, and I am seeing a difference in fuel mileage so far. And one thing I want to check is my jacks, make sure they're not letting down on me while I'm going down the road. Make sure I don't have any lug nuts missing. Every time you stop and get out, look at your wheels and tires and make sure on the truck and trailer, and make sure you don't have any missing lug nuts or any that look loose, even if you torqued them before you left the yard. You know, checking my little caps, make sure they're on. Check my jacks on the back, make sure they're not letting down on the ground as I'm driving down the road. And everything looks good. Got to stretch my legs for a minute, and now we'll get on back down the road. Just leaving Amarillo, just stopped and got fuel, getting back on 40 headed west, and this has been a very good ride. I have thoroughly enjoyed this ride so far. The casino last night, I went in, got a bacon cheeseburger, and with a $10 voucher, that cheeseburger wound up being 54 cents. So on the way out, I'm thinking I got a free shower. I got a free shower, and I got a 54-cent cheeseburger. I had a 10 and a 5. So I put the 10 and a 5 in one of the machines, and I lost it. No big deal, right? I mean, truck stop shower can be $18. So then I went out to the truck and tinkered around a little bit and decided I was going to go back in, hit the restroom one more time before I went to sleep. I go back in, I put another $10 in the machine, and I hit for $43. So all in, not only did I get a free meal and a free shower, but I also got cash back. Pretty good. Doesn't always happen like that, but when it does, it's a good deal. Now, two things I wanted to touch on. It's summertime, it's hotter than crap outside. All the creepy critters are lurking around. I've got a big old spot on the back side of my shoulder where I wound up getting bit by a tick. Now, I do not like ticks. I'm not scared of much, but ticks are one of those things that really bother me, because a few years ago, I got bit by a tick on the leg, wound up with Rocky Mountain spotted fever on my right leg. And then I turned around and got bit again the next year and wound up with a big old hole in my arm and everything else. So check yourself for ticks. Next thing is, I've ran with people that ride around in flip-flops and tennis shoes and shorts and all that stuff, and to each their own. It is what it is. I mean, I don't care. It ain't got nothing to do with me. But people ask me, why do I wear boots? Boots and jeans most all the time. Well, this is a picture from David Cross. He got to the dealership and he would reach down and take your battery off, and he found this guy hanging around his right there at his battery, and if you stop on the side of the road in the middle of the night to get out, or on the edge of a parking lot or something like that, especially out west, I like knowing I got something between me and that guy if he happens to slither up on me. Not a fan of snakes, but I'd rather deal with a snake than a tick. Another thing I kind of want to touch on, yeah, I'm not saying everybody should wear boots and all that stuff, but you see the signs all over the place, especially out west down in Florida, venomous snakes present and spiders, stuff like that. I just like having the boots on. Another thing I want to touch on, I had a driver get with me yesterday morning and said when they were leaving, they were empty-headed back, and whenever they were leaving, they heard a clunk, clunk, clunk noise coming from the front end. And then when they got up to speed on the interstate, there was a really bad vibration they could feel on the steering wheel. I was on the phone with some other people, and we got talking about it and said, well, it could be a universal joint in the axle, on a Dodge. It has a straight axle under it. It could be a U-joint out there at the axle, not, gone bad or something gone wrong in that U-joint. I never thought, which is ridiculous for me, I should have been the first one to think of this, all the trouble I've had out of lug nuts backing off and studs breaking and all that stuff. I never thought to tell them to check the lug nuts. They pulled right back into a tire store and had 4 broken studs and 4 loose lug nuts. So if you hear a clunking noise of any kind that's abnormal, and first thing you check is wheel studs. If you don't hear the clunking noise and you're riding along and you start feeling a vibration, your truck, and you start feeling a vibration that's out of place, check the studs, check the lug nuts, check the studs. Because if those things get loose, they start vibrating around, they break the studs. Now, a tire store had put those on, they didn't put them on themselves. And it wasn't long ago, if y'all remember Semperfi, he had took and had his tires rotated. I think he bought new tires, or no, he had his tires rotated, and he made it to Indiana and had one back off on a steer on his dually. So it can happen, it does happen. Make sure and check those and keep an eye on it. And as soon as you feel a vibration, if you're going down the road and you feel a vibration, check those lug nuts first, because if it's a U-joint, that could be bad. If it's the U-joint and the axle, that could potentially be bad. But if your wheel falls off, there's not a lot worse. That can be catastrophic as well, and that's instant. Where if you have a U-joint going down the rear end, it could possibly spit the drive shaft out. It could do a lot of damage. But if that wheel comes off, it can equally do as much damage. So make sure when you get out at your truck stop or you get out the rest area, walking around looking at your trailer and making sure everything's good, always look at the lug nuts. Just make sure you don't have that one that's backed out or something like that. I just can't stress it enough, because it's not just a my truck issue. It can happen to any of them. And I do feel like I got my issue fixed. If you haven't heard, I think I made a video about it, but the Dorman studs that I was putting in are a hair bit longer, like just a millimeters longer than the original studs, and they were bottoming out on the cap. So when I was torquing them, I wasn't torquing the lug nut to the wheel. I wasn't clamping the lug nut to the wheel to clamp that wheel down tight. I was actually bottoming out. But the lug nut was meeting the wheel at the same time the stud was bottoming out inside the lug nut. And then the other thing was, the way that I was pulling them through was stretching the threads and weakening the stud. And a lot of things I was doing wrong. But when you're on the side of the road in the middle of the night or the middle of the day, a lot of times you don't have a press. And I replaced so many of those things by pulling them through. They actually sell tools to use to pull them through and make it easier on you to pull them through. So a lot of people do it that way, just by putting a nut on and pulling them through. But the correct way to do it would be with a press and have them pressed into the back of the hub. 3 or 4 of you guys had told me that, and it's not that I didn't listen. I just am so used to doing it the other way. And I think on a small car or something like that, it's still good. I've done on 18-wheelers and never had an issue. But anyway, I replaced both the back hubs. Issue seems to be solved. I haven't had a lug nut back off since I did that, and I rotated tires 3 times. They actually feel a lot better when you're pulling them down to the 140 foot-pounds that it said to torque them to in the book. And everything seems happy again. I'm at 588,973 miles on the truck, and the truck had 501 on it whenever I replaced the engine with the engine that came from Raceway Auto Parts in Savannah, Tennessee, that had 104,000 miles on it. So it's getting not too far away from hitting its 200,000 mile mark on this engine that's in here now. But it's running great, doing a good job. I don't know, I'm sure it's already came out, the cold air inductions, cold air intake. I put it on, drove to Kentucky, drove up to Indiana, and now I'm in Amarillo, Texas. That cold air inductions intake, you're not going to get a lot of noise, turbo whistle, and it did make it a little bit deeper sound, and you can hear some air rushing through the tube and through the air box more than what you could with the stock box, but it's not like a major noticeable difference. If you were thinking about buying it just to get a little extra sound out of the truck, it's probably not going to be what you want. However, I have noticed that the truck is noticeably more peppy. I can't say I gained a certain amount of horsepower because I don't know how to measure that number or anything like that, but I can tell you it's definitely got more seat of the pants peppiness to it. When you flat foot it going down the road, it's perked up. And the other thing was, I am getting right now it's showing 11.9 pulling this little trailer, but it averaged 11 and a half all day long yesterday from Rochester, Indiana to Miami, Oklahoma. That's pretty good considering there was wind and everything out. And on the trip up, where I normally get 19, 20, possibly 21 if I got a tailwind, I got 23 pretty much all the way up, 22 and 23. So I do feel like there is a fuel mileage increase, but it's not going to be like 4 miles to the gallon. I mean, I'm 100% sure that I did gain miles per gallon. I can't be sure how much it is, because if you're towing this trailer this time and another trailer next time, your fuel mileage is always different depending on what you're towing. But empty, it felt like a solid mile per gallon. And on this, I want to say I'm feeling like it would be a solid mile per gallon to what it would be if I put the stock air box back in right now, because I've totaled a lot of these trailers, but it could just be the wind got behind me just right. You know, the wind is everything when you're doing, especially when you're doing this in a pickup. You get a good tailwind, your fuel mileage will blow your mind. If you get a good headwind, your fuel mileage will make you sick to your stomach. But anyway, I just want to let you guys know about that stuff. This has been an extremely enjoyable ride for me so far. Just smooth sailing, 60, 65, 68 mile an hour, just cruising along down the highway. Traffic hasn't been horrible. This is probably the thickest I've seen it yet, and this is not bad. But my goal is to make it to either Klein's Corner, or if I have time left on my book, I'll try to go to the casino in Albuquerque, just because it's closer. And if I make the casino in Albuquerque, that puts me in pretty good time to get on down to Santee tomorrow and deliver first thing Thursday morning. So that's the game plan. So I did make it down to the Route 66 casino last night. Today is Wednesday, June the 12th, and woke up this morning, came on down to Milan and got fuel at the Petro, went around, got something to eat, and I just now crossed the Arizona state line right there at Speedy's truck stop. If you guys have been through here and you see that big rock wall up on the side of the hill there are some animals, statues, animals up on the side of that big rock wall, that big rock face. How did they get those up there? I've wondered that ever since the first time I saw them. I don't know. It looked at me like it almost had to have been done with a helicopter or something. Well, guys, we just got checked in here in Santee, California, and if you ever come out here at night, this is what the parking lot looks like on this side. The actual dealership is on the other side, and you can park right there overnight. So I imagine you could probably double stack in here, you know, part one here and one here. I wouldn't completely block up the whole thing. And then there is enough room you could pull two in a row right here, because there's nothing in here when you get here at night. But the wind was blowing pretty rough last night on 8, and it was blowing on 40 pretty good yesterday, and it was showing it's going to be 50-mile-an-hour gusts, so I wanted to make sure and try not to waste no time so I could get all the way in here. But it was dead on 11-hour drive from where I started at. So anyway, there's also a restaurant right there, Ranch House Restaurant. I'm about to go in there and get something to eat. It was pretty good the last time I was here, but I will let you guys know. This place was just like I remembered it from the last time I came to Santee. It had really good service, really good food, and just a really good atmosphere, even though there wasn't a lot of people in there yet, but it was filling up by the time I left. So I got kind of sidetracked after I ate breakfast and all that. This is actually a couple of weeks later even. The reason I got sidetracked is I got a message while I was eating breakfast from David Cross, and he was telling me that there was a transporter that was broken down in Las Vegas. So I sent him a message. He sent me a message back. He was broke down, Indiana Transport, and I was hoping I could take him apart or something to fix his truck and help him out and get off the side of the road. But he had bigger issues, and that's a short video that's coming up that I'm gonna put on the membership site. There's not a whole lot to it. He didn't really want to be on video, so I did get video of the truck hooked up and talk a little bit about that, and I bought some wireless towing lights and stuff I wanted to put in the video. So that will be a future video. I'm probably just gonna put it on the membership site as well. And on this load right here, it paid $3,831 gross, and that's after the pull-in fee. I'd already deducted that. Now that left me with $26.61. $26.61 is what I figured after I took my fuel out, and I spent $1,221.82 in fuel. And I'm figuring this up a couple weeks later. I had to go back through the com data card, and I had to try to make sure and keep everything separated because of where I bought the fuel tank and that driver home. It was all listed on the com data card. So anyway, I also left out of that 1221.82 is what I spent in fuel. The $26.61 is what I had after that came out, and then I also left an additional $500 on the card out of that to get me back across is what I would have normally done, and just to make sure I had enough fuel to get me back to Indiana to pay for the round trip. So that would have made it $21.61, right around, something like that. And that was a really enjoyable trip. If you're doing this job, chances are, you know, you need the money. But on the other hand, chances are you're doing this job because of the freedom and because of, you know, like this driver I'm going to pick up. That's the downside. That's the bad part of this. But like I say, it's about, I think 2 weeks later, maybe even 3, I dropped the ball. It was just getting one thing after another kind of compounding on me. But the perks of the job, it was a super enjoyable ride. It was a light camper. The GVWO on the camper was like 60, what did I say, Dave? 6,900?
Yeah.
6,900 pounds. I thought I had it on video where I checked the actual shipping weight, but it was like 5,500 pounds. And really easy on the truck. Everything went really good on that whole trip. But that's a perk of the job, getting to eat there, seeing all the different landscapes going out through Phoenix and all that stuff. And this morning, this is after another load. This is another video coming up. Me and David Cross had just delivered in Royal Grand, California yesterday. After we delivered, the last time I was here, I came down and rode on the beach. Well, we found out that it's $5 to come out for a day pass and ride on the beach, which at one place there wasn't even anybody there, and they said you could just go ahead. You didn't even need, you know, but for $10 you get it's $10 for 24-hour access, and you can camp here. So hell, we just stayed on the beach last night. So that's a perk of the job. That's why I got long sleeves and stuff on. It's like 57 degrees here when we woke up, and it was triple digits the whole way across the country. And getting to see stuff like this and the dunes and all that stuff, that's why I do this job. Don't get me wrong, the money for me, $2,161 to the house in a week, you know, but it's a 7-day week. But you also get to see stuff like this, the stuff that I saw on the way down to Phoenix on this trip. I mean, pros and cons. And I guess the reason I get into all this is, for one, people get in this mindset about this job where you got to run wide open, got to rush, got to get that next load, I can't do that anymore. I was like that when I was in the 18-wheeler. That's not how I want to run anymore. If I can't run, relax, and take my time, I have to find something else to do. If I can't stop and take in the sights like this, I have to find something else to do. If I'm going to start running wide open and make the job miserable for myself, I would rather be miserable at someone else's expense versus me having to pay the expenses on the truck and all that stuff. But getting to stop and see the different places and take in some of the scenery that I would have never got to see. Last night was the first time I ever put my toes in the beach on the West Coast. I've been here many, like 3 or 4 times. I started saying many times, but it's only been like 3, and this is my 4th time that I've actually saw the beach from this coast. But this is the first time I ever actually put my feet in it. So yeah, anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. If you're seeing this first on the membership site, thank you so much for being a member. I really appreciate it. The link to the membership site is down in the description if you'd like to see this a few weeks earlier. And the video about going and getting the broke down transporter, that's only going to be on the membership site. It's not going to be a very long video though, because like I said, he was already having a bad day. I didn't want to invade his privacy at the same time. So anyway, thanks so much. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video.